Aloha, Deck 12.
Support from the Guzman. Gary Player, he's in a little bit of a tangle and he has a little bit of a flick out, you can see. But there's nothing in it, and I'm sure Gary Player's grateful to the Guzman. Just a little sharp, but nothing in it. That's a very, very good attempt.
The ship has now been cleared by the local officials, and you may now proceed ashore at your leisure. Finally, I'd just like to remind you that all aboard time for this evening will be at 7:30. So all aboard for 7:30 this evening, please. And Grand Princess will then sail shortly afterwards for Vigo. Ladies and gents, we wish you a great stay with us here in Le Havre.
This is the beach where the Rangers landed. And you can see the cliff is scaled in 30 minutes, 100 feet high. Right here, a former anti-aircraft position, German anti-aircraft position. The first place taken by the Rangers, used as a main place for the Rangers.
The somewhat blustery conditions we've experienced today. I'm pleased to say we've now got everyone back on board, and everything's burning and turning as it should. All our pre-departure checks are now satisfactorily completed, and I've just been informed that the pilot has just walked up the gangway, so very shortly we'll be on our way. I do apologise for breaking into your evening activities like this. I don't normally prior to departure, but I think it only fair to advise you that once we've sailed today, we'll be making our way towards the Bay of Biscay, and I've been keeping a very close eye on the weather there. On our way back to Southampton, we did encounter some extremely bad weather, and there will be some remnants from that. So we'll be getting to the Bay of Biscay tomorrow morning at about 9 o'clock. We'll be rounding Ushant and then begin our transit of the bay. And the weather there is, we can experience up to around about 30-35 knots of wind. That's around about 40 miles an hour. And we can expect some significant swell. So anyway, looking at sailing in around about 10 minutes time. Ladies and gents, I hope you have a great evening on board Grand Princess. Well, I'm pleased to say that at this moment in time we're probably in the worst of it. We're about a quarter of the way into the Bay of Biscay, and as the watch said, we've got about 45 knots of wind out there, so on the starboard beam, and that's the equivalent of around about 50 miles an hour. Looking at the charts, that wind is now set to veer around to the north, which will put it just around about on our starboard quarter. Certainly that'll give us a more comfortable ride. And from now on it should start to ease. So in the next 6 hours I'm expecting the wind to come round and then to gradually ease off. That's not to say it's going to be flat calm. We will experience some movement throughout the Bay of Biscay. At the moment we're making a good speed, and I'm estimating that we should get out of the bay at around about 3 tomorrow morning. So as I say, this is the worst of it. I do apologise, as I am aware we are finding the odd pothole in the road here, but we will try to make the ride just as comfortable as possible. And for those who were wondering, we are actually making quite a good speed. We were slowed down during the night, but we're managing to make that up now, and at this time I don't anticipate there'll be any delay to us getting into Vigo on time. Thanks very much for your attention.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again a very good evening and a very warm welcome to the Piazza here on board the beautiful Grand Princess. Again, would you please join me in thanking for this wonderful music we've been enjoying, Beethoven. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get ready for some introductions. So one more time, it's my great pleasure to introduce you to your host for this evening's party, and also for this wonderful transatlantic crossing voyage. Would you please welcome the master of Grand Princess, Captain Roger Bilton.
Well, a very good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and perhaps more importantly, of course, a very warm welcome on board the slightly wobbly Grand Princess. Now, apparently, the only reason you're here is to have a very nice time. Would that be right? Well, fancy that. But of course, the only reason we're here is to make that nice time happen for you. Now, of course, we have a cracking itinerary lined up for you. We've been through Le Havre, of course, and you've had a nice, relaxing day at sea today. But it all starts in earnest tomorrow as we go into Vigo. So we'll be getting you into Vigo tomorrow, which of course is in Spain, and where we dock. It's fairly near the town, so you'll be able to walk straight into town there. A lot of beautiful architecture there for you to see, and as I say, got a lot of shops right there on the doorstep. Then of course we go further down south and we're into Lisbon. Now we'll be making our final approaches into Lisbon at around about 5:45 in the morning. So you're more than welcome to join us for that if you like. Alright, I'll do it on my own then, shall I? Thank you. But ladies and gents, we'll be picking the pilot up at around about 6:30 in Lisbon. And if you do have a tendency to get up in the morning, it is well worth getting up because it's quite a scenic arrival. As you go past the Henry the Navigator monument there, you've got the statue of Christ up on the starboard side. You go under the big suspension bridge there. So there are all sorts of things to see in Lisbon. And again, of course, Lisbon being Portuguese, it's got some wonderful restaurants, shops and architecture there for you to enjoy. It really is a wonderful little stopover. Then of course we've got 4 days at sea as we head off west and we go to Ponta Delgada in the Azores. Again, a beautiful little stop. We don't go there very often, only in repositioning cruises. And probably the highlight of that is the lakes there. We've got 2 lakes, one blue and one green, which if you look down on the mountains are absolutely stunning. But beautiful little stop there. Then of course it's off to Bermuda and then back down to Port Everglades. So ladies and gents, that in a nutshell is your cruise. Did you enjoy it? Yeah. Cheap, wasn't it? Well, ladies and gents, the second most important ingredient in any cruise, of course, is the weather. Now, a lot of people have been asking me about this, and contrary to popular belief, I don't actually control it, okay? And in fact, there is a little nautical saying which says, the sun only shines on the righteous. And judging from today, that tells me a lot about you. And I do feel there is some scope for improvement, all right? For those of you who are a little bit more traditional, I have of course been keeping a very close eye on the weather charts. And I do like to give you a quick 48-hour forecast. I do like to be as honest as I can. I'm not conservative on these things, because otherwise it will only come back to bite me later on. Now, at the moment, there's a fairly deep depression which is winging its way in from the west, and in amongst that is a fairly well-developed cold front. So what that means really is associated with that is a lot of rain, a lot of wind, and of course a lot of cloud. Sorry, that's London. Sorry, after that, I couldn't help that. Here we go, Lisbon tomorrow. Well, according to the forecast, you're going to see lots of sunshine in Lisbon tomorrow.
Not tomorrow.
Sorry, we're not in Lisbon tomorrow, it's Vigo. A lady just told me that our little map on the television had gone wrong, and that's probably why. So Vigo tomorrow, we're going to get plenty of sunshine according to the forecast, and then the following day after that, Lisbon, partly cloudy with sunshine, all right? When I say sunshine, ladies and gents, I don't mean you're going to be out there sunbathing, because we're talking tomorrow, highest temperatures are looking at 16 degrees Celsius, so that's what, for those of you across the pond, 61 degrees Fahrenheit. So still warm enough, and you should get a good day in Vigo and indeed in Lisbon. So there you go. I'm only prepared to stick my neck out for 48 hours, as the weather does change around here quite rapidly. But if you do require a longer range forecast, please don't hesitate to contact the cruise director, okay? And I'm sure he'll put you in touch with our magician, if he's got any sense. Well, ladies and gents, Grand Princess, she really is a wonderful little ship. She's literally stuffed to the gunnels with all sorts of facilities, amenities, and of course entertainment. And it's all there for you to enjoy, so please don't feel shy. I strongly urge you to make the most of all of it. It's all there just for your benefit during your stay with us. And last but not least, the man in charge of making you all smile, in charge of all the entertainment right the way across Grand Princess. He, of course, is your cruise director. He's Billy London, and he is indeed from London. Ladies and gents, just remains for me to say thank you for popping along this evening. I hope you have a wonderful evening this evening. The seas are flattening out at last. But more importantly, I hope you're going to have a fantastic cruise with us. That's what we're aiming to achieve for you. Have a great evening. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the master of Grand Princess.
And outside today, as I'm sure most of you are aware, we've got beautiful clear skies, blue skies out there. Current outside air temperature 13 degrees Celsius, and we've got a light easterly breeze of around about 8 miles an hour over the open decks at the moment. Forecast for the rest of the day is set to remain sunny skies, that wind picking up a little bit to 10 to 15 knots, which is around about 15 to 17 miles an hour. And maximum temperatures for today 16 degrees Celsius, that's 61 degrees Fahrenheit. The ship has now been cleared by the local officials, and you may now proceed ashore at your leisure. Ladies and gents, we hope you have a great stay here in Vigo with us.
This is the main square in town, not only for the size, especially for the kind of the buildings and for the occupants of the buildings. I mean, we start with the cathedral. As I said to you on the bus, the cathedral was constructed along the 12th century, Romanesque style. Everything except the facade. The facade is an addition. The facade is a new dress made for the cathedral in the 18th century, Baroque style.
I hope you've enjoyed this beautiful day here in Vigo. I'm pleased to say that all our pre-departure checks are now satisfactorily completed. We've accounted for everybody, and the pilot has just come up the gangway, so we're just going to take out the last gangway, close up the shell doors, and then we'll be letting go our line. So looking at sailing, I would say in the next 10 to 15 minutes or so. Once we let go the lines today, we'll be thrusting off the berth and then turning the ship to port through 180 degrees and then proceeding back out through the Bay of Vigo. It's about 45 minutes from berth to the open water down through the bay there. And once we're halfway down the channel, we'll be dropping off our pilot. And once we get out into the open waters, we'll be turning out onto a southerly course, which then will take us all the way down to Lisbon. Looking at making our final approaches into Lisbon at around about 6 o'clock tomorrow morning, and picking up the pilot off Belém Tower at 6:30, and then that should have us alongside in Lisbon at around about 8 o'clock. Ladies and gents, the weather forecast for Lisbon has changed slightly. I'm afraid it's going to be, one I've got in front of me, it's going to be cloudy and possibility of some showers, but hopefully that may change as we get there tomorrow. Meantime, ladies and gents, I hope you have a great evening on board Grand Princess.
So once again, anyone wishing to follow the US presidential election coverage, it will be available from the Snooker Sports Bar on deck number 6, also the Casino Bar on deck number 6, and from 11:45 this evening and throughout the night, it will be shown in the Vista Lounge on deck number 7 at the aft end. Thank you very much.
Outlook is for it to remain mostly cloudy. There may be the possibility of the odd shower later, particularly as we go into the afternoon, and the wind will more or less stay the same. Temperatures pretty much to stay as they are, so that's 14 degrees Celsius, 57 degrees Fahrenheit. Ship has now been cleared by the local officials, and you may now proceed ashore at your leisure. Finally, ladies and gents, just like to remind you that all aboard time for this afternoon will be at 4:30, so all aboard for 4:30 this afternoon, please. Grand Princess will then sail shortly afterwards for the Azores and Ponta Delgada. Ladies and gents, I hope you have a great stay with us here in Lisbon. It's quite a scenic sail out. It takes around about 40 minutes or so. Of course, on the port side you've got the Cristo Rey there, which is the Christ statue that was inspired by the one that oversees or overlooks the Bay of Rio in Rio de Janeiro. And then we'll be passing straight out under the suspension bridge there, which is of course the 25th of April bridge, and then continuing down through the channel and disembarking our pilot off Belém Tower, and of course you'll then get a good view on the starboard side of the Monument to Discoveries, celebrating Henry the Navigator's exploration in the New World. Once we dropped off the pilots, then we'll be, as I say, continuing down the channel, and once we get out into the open ocean, we'll then be setting a more or less due westerly course, and that'll take us all the way to the Azores. So meantime, ladies and gents, I do hope you enjoy the sail away with us.
A very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is the officer of the watch from the bridge speaking. The time is now 12 o'clock noon, and it's time for me to update you on our navigational progress and the weather so far. Our present position is latitude 38 degrees 7 minutes north, longitude 17 degrees 4 minutes west, which puts us halfway between Lisbon and Ponta Delgada. Since our departure from Lisbon until noon today, the Grand Princess has steamed a distance of 365 nautical miles, with 406 nautical miles remaining until we reach our destination. We are currently following a charted course of 269 degrees and making good a speed of 19 knots. Weather-wise this afternoon, we have cloudy skies with winds from the north at 22 knots, which is force 6 on the Beaufort scale. The outside air temperature is 16 degrees Celsius, and that's 60.8 degrees Fahrenheit, and we expect these conditions to remain the same throughout the day. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for your piece of nautical knowledge of the day, which is shake a leg. Shake a leg is an expression often used meaning wake up, get out of bed, or become active. In the old days of sail, on board naval ships, seamen were often refused shore leave in case they took the opportunity to desert the ship. Instead, wives, or at least lady friends, were allowed on board a berth ship and were permitted to stay the night. In the morning, the boatswain's mate was sent round to check for tardy sailors. This was done by telling them to shake a leg over the side of the hammock. If the leg was smooth and silky, the occupant was left asleep, and if the leg was hairy and covered in barnacles, then its owner would receive a less than polite wake-up call. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much and have a pleasant day at sea on board the magnificent Grand Princess.
Very good morning everyone, this is the captain speaking from the bridge and a very warm welcome to Ponta Delgada and the Azores here today. Outside, so you're no doubt aware, we've come in at just the right time. It was raining fairly heavily earlier on, but the skies are now cleared up. It's looking like a really beautiful day out there. Outside air temperature currently 18 degrees Celsius, that's 66 degrees Fahrenheit, and the outlook I've got in front of me here, it's set to remain partly cloudy or scattered cloud, but plenty of sunny intervals and a northwesterly wind of around about 14 knots. Temperatures pretty much set to remain the same throughout the day. That's 18 degrees Celsius, 64 degrees Fahrenheit. Ship has now been cleared by the local officials and you may now proceed ashore at your leisure. Finally, ladies and gents, just like to remind you that all aboard time for this evening will be at 5:30. So all aboard for 5:30 this evening please, and Grand Princess will then sail shortly afterwards for Bermuda. Ladies and gents, we wish you a great stay with us here in Ponta Delgada.
See this road there?
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. Gonna go look at the...
Captain speaking from the bridge and welcome back on board. Certainly I hope you've enjoyed this gorgeous day here in the Azores. Just been speaking with the pilot, we've been quite lucky because the weather's been pretty bad for the previous couple of days, so we've been very lucky indeed. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed yourself. I'm pleased to say that all of our pre-departure checks are now satisfactorily completed and we've now accounted for everybody. We've got everyone back on board that we should have, and we're just taking in the last of our gangways and very shortly we'll be on our way. Fairly simple one today. Once we've let go the lines, we'll be angling up off the berth and proceeding out through the breakwater there. As we go through the breakwater, we'll be dropping off the pilot and then we'll be swinging out onto a west-southwesterly course, and of course 4 Bloodies at sea on that same west-southwesterly course all the way into Bermuda. Ladies and gents, get ready.
degrees 43 minutes north, longitude 33 degrees 7 minutes west, which puts us more than 300 nautical miles west of the Azores. Since our departure from Ponta Delgada until noon today, the Crown Princess has steamed a distance of 355 nautical miles, with 1,582 nautical miles remaining until we reach our destination of Bermuda. We are currently following a charted course of 260 degrees and making good a speed of 19 knots. Weather-wise this afternoon, we have cloudy skies with winds from the north at 6 knots, which is force 2 on the Beaufort scale, and the outside air temperature is 19 degrees Celsius, and that's 66.2 degrees Fahrenheit, and we expect these conditions to remain the same throughout the day. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much and have a pleasant day at sea on board the magnificent Grand Princess. Since our departure from Ponta Delgada until noon today, the Grand Princess has steamed a distance of 809 nautical miles, with 1,127 nautical miles remaining until we reach our destination of Bermuda. We are currently following a charted course of 261 degrees and making good a speed of 17.8 knots. Weather-wise this afternoon, we have cloudy skies with winds from the south at 28 knots, which is force 7 on the Beaufort scale. The outside air temperature is 22 degrees Celsius, and that's 53.6 degrees Fahrenheit, and we expect these conditions to remain the same throughout the day.
Bridge. Hello, good evening. Hello. Just tell me what we're doing. Let your internet.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is the officer of the watch from the bridge speaking. The time is now 12 o'clock noon, and it's time for me to update you on our navigational progress and the weather so far. Our present position is latitude 33 degrees 05 minutes north, longitude 059 degrees 28 minutes west. Since our departure from Ponta Delgado until noon today, the Grand Princess has steamed a total distance of 1,308 nautical miles, with 254 nautical miles remaining until we reach our destination of Bermuda. We are currently following a charting course of 260 degrees and making good a speed of 15 knots. Weather-wise this afternoon we have cloudy skies with winds from the east at 30 knots, which is far 7 on the Beaufort scale. The outside air temperature is 22 degrees Celsius and that's 71.6 degrees Fahrenheit, and we expect these conditions to remain the same throughout the day. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much and have a pleasant day at sea on board the magnificent Grand Princess.
Pleased to say that we have now received clearance from the local officials, and you may now see the shore. Finally, I'd just like to remind you that all aboard time for this afternoon will be at 3:30, so all aboard for 3:30 this afternoon, please. Grand Princess will then sail shortly afterwards for Port Everglades. Ladies and gents, we wish you a great stay with us here in Bermuda.
And everyone, this is the capital of Bermuda, Hamilton. It looks like a big castle up there in the background. That is the Church of England. And that church was designed by a Scottish designer, architect man by the name of William A.
Staying in Bermuda with us, and thankfully it did clear up as we went into the afternoon, so I hope you've enjoyed yourself. Please say all our pre-departure checks are now satisfactorily completed. We are just trying to find the whereabouts of 3 passengers that we've got outstanding according to our machine. So we're just trying to account for them, and then after that we'll be on our way. And once we've let go our lines this afternoon, be thrusting off the berth and then proceeding out through the channel ahead of us. In actual fact, although it looks as though we've got loads of clear water ahead of us and around the island, it is in actual fact full of reefs, and there is actually a very narrow channel which takes us right the way around the island. It's a 19-mile pilotage all the way through, so that's going to take us about an hour and 20 minutes, hour and a half, I should imagine. And then once we're out of the channel we've got through the reefs, we'll then be out in the open water. We'll drop off our pilot, and then we'll be setting a southwesterly course, and that southwesterly course will take us all the way back down to Port Everglades. And looking at the winds and the seas, certainly which should be a lot better than we've had recently. We're looking at slight to moderate seas, where we were looking at moderate to rough seas for the past 2 days. So hopefully a little bit better weather in store for us. Meantime, ladies and gents, wish you a great evening on board Grand Princess.
A very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is the officer of the Watch from the Bridge speaking. The time is now 12 o'clock noon, and it's time for me to update you on our navigational progress so far. Our present position is latitude 29 degrees 50 minutes north, longitude 69 degrees 12 minutes west, which puts us 470 nautical miles off the northeast coast of the Bahama Islands. Since our departure from Bermuda until noon today, the Grand Princess has steamed a distance of 286 nautical miles, with 665 nautical miles remaining until we reach our destination at Port Everglades. We are currently following a charting course of 240 degrees and making good a speed of 15.4 knots. Weather-wise this afternoon, we have light winds from the northeast at 4 knots, which is positive on the Beaufort scale. The outside air temperature is 24 degrees Celsius, and that's 75.2 degrees Fahrenheit, and we expect these conditions to remain the same throughout the day. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much, and have a pleasant day at sea on board the magnificent Grand Princess. A very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is the officer of the Watch from the Bridge speaking. The time is now 12 o'clock noon, and it's time for me to update you on our navigational progress and the weather so far. Our present position is latitude 26 degrees 43 minutes north, longitude 75 degrees 12 minutes west. Since our departure from Bermuda until noon today, the Grand Princess has steamed a total distance of 615 nautical miles, with 280 nautical miles remaining until we reach our destination of Port Everglades. We are currently following a charting course of 240 degrees and making good a speed of 16 knots. Weather-wise this afternoon, we have sunny skies with winds from the northeast at 7 knots, which is force 3 on the Beaufort scale. The outside air temperature is 27 degrees Celsius, and that's 80.6 degrees Fahrenheit, and we expect these conditions to remain the same throughout the day. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much, and have a pleasant day at sea on board the magnificent Grand Princess.